stay with the theme of International Women's Month, artists are joining the fight against gender-based violence using love. Rapper eNCA has released Madlamini in celebration of his mother. He joins us now from GBV. Thank you so much for your time. We do appreciate it. I just want to start off with what inspired you starting out in the music industry. You often have people saying, I want to be an artist, I want to be a rapper, whatever it might be. But there's always a hidden push behind it. What inspired you to move into this industry?
Well, I think, thank you first and foremost for having me, guys. Really do appreciate that. I think for me personally, it was always like it's a gift. Music is a gift, it chooses you. And once you're bestowed upon that gift, you need to either realize whether you want to use it as a tool or if you want to maybe try your best to just make what you want to make. But for me, it was realizing the ever good at when I was a young man. And I just took it and ran with it. And as you grow, as you develop as a person, you learn to use it in different ways. And for me, it's developed into this tool of narration for my people. So that's essentially how it started. But as you know, things grow, they develop, they change, and that's where it's at this present moment.
Certainly. So you would probably say it's a calling. I want us to move into the fact that you have been very vocal about calling out gender-based violence and encouraging men to really try and avert this. You know, it's one thing to come out and say, don't do this, or those that are doing it should, you know, try and stop abusing women and children. But I know that this is quite integral in your music creation.
Well, definitely. I think more than anything, it's just about being honest about it, because it is masked, it is swept under the rug. I think as a musician, as I said, you have a gift of narration and speaking over things. And if you're a young black man in South Africa, you are inevitably going to be faced with this reality. And if I have been blessed with the tools of songwriting, I need to speak on that. I believe that it is important. I believe that if you have influence, you either admit to what it can do for people who listen to you, or you don't, or you choose to live in denial. And I prefer to use that voice responsibly. I prefer to influence responsibly. And honestly, it was not a decision I isolated and took. It was just one of the many people that I've decided to be honest about. And when you are vulnerable as a man, you introduce a completely different perspective to, you know, like what's out there, because you're always taught to not be vulnerable, be tough, you know, be rugged, be rigid. So I think what women go through on a daily basis, what it means to be a woman in this country, it's something that you, as a man, have a responsibility to speak openly and honestly about, so that we can introduce that perspective to even the most rigid and rugged of men.
So before we get into what your song Madlamini is all about, you speak about being vulnerable and allowing that vulnerability and understanding what women go through. And, you know, you often don't find a man saying that. You know, as much as men are told to be strong, women are also told to just toughen up and stop being emotional about everything. So I'm curious to know how your music has been perceived and taken by you being vulnerable and saying, this is what women go through, and we need to allow that vulnerability as men to understand that.
I think what my music has done, and with the talent I've been blessed with, I've been able to act as almost like a speakerphone, a megaphone, an amplifier of the thoughts and the emotions that people go through on a daily basis. And, you know, when you look at the small detail like ordering or calling for an Uber at night, and think about how different that experience is for a man in comparison to a woman, it just leads you down this road where you just active how challenging it is to be a woman in this country. And for me, it's the vulnerability and the honesty in my music almost provides as a narrative experience for many people. And as a young Black man in South Africa, you genuinely give men a different perspective because everything usually caters for the man in modern society. So when you as a man are speaking about such a pressing issue, it really does help us and other men just see. It starts with us seeing. If we cannot see or understand or even begin to comprehend what it is like to be a woman, then it is impossible for us to tackle any issue that's worth fixing.
Certainly. I mean, it's a very interesting perspective that you've taken on there, and just, hopefully it filters through, and what a great way to do it through your music. I want us to speak about your EP, Madlamini, and what inspired that. I know it's got to do with your mother, so that's rather special and probably quite sensitive.
Yes, just to help you there, the EP is actually called Crimson Scriptures. And what the EP was about was to speak on, the pain that we as Black people in general, have to live through. And Madlamini in general is, it basically encompasses and embodies everything my mother has ever had to go through to put me where I am, and the gratitude that I feel for that. Ironically, today is so it's a very, very, special to me that I've gotten an opportunity to celebrate that woman for everything that she has done, gone through, and sacrificed to put me where I am. And Madlamini is actually a song that speaks on that. And what I'm doing is I'm trying my best to serenade and celebrate this woman for everything that she did, so that she knows and feels that all her efforts were not in vain.
Certainly. And just lastly, maybe just tell us, where we can access your music and if you have anything new coming up.
Yes, I am currently working on a project right now. You can access my music on YouTube, M2Kane, M2KANE, on all digital platforms. I have quite a number of different projects that are out right now at the moment. And of course, on social media, you can access me through the handle M2KAN3, almost like the 3 acting as an E there. So yeah, that's where you can find me and all of my music.
Okay, so I've been getting your name wrong. So it's M2KNE. How do you say it? Just to help me.
Don't worry, you're not the only one. I'm sure my country will eventually catch up. It's M2Kane. It's not M2Kane, it's M2Kane.
Oh.
Right, that's how you pronounce it.
Okay, I won't get it wrong. Thank you so much. I actually want us to listen to, we have about a 15-minute clip of Madlamini, but thank you for your time. We do appreciate it. Coming to us live from GBV. Let's listen into that 15-minute clip.
For lessons, I'm serenading you at every opportunity. I'm celebrating you for you to know your jewelry. I'm serenading you at every opportunity.